unfortunately, like the net that we talking about underneath the joint, when you see that, like most people don't respect it. Like, let's be real. Like you walking across the tightrope, and like my man up in the big house tent, like he walking across the joint between the rings, and he got a safety net under him versus the man who in Vegas walking in between the two hotels, and he ain't nothing under him but the street. Like for real, like you respect only one of those guys. Like let's be real. Like one of the frustrations that comes in with the whole balancing act is that, like for real, like people in our situation, they get into this mode of like they gonna do something, they gonna make something happen, but then the frustration started kicking in. But like,
what are you doing today that makes you better than the person you were yesterday? That is part of the Ascension brand. That is the motto, the heart of what we stand for. When I pass away, I want people to know. I want people to remember me, not for the time that I've spent on this planet, but for the things that I have done to contribute to society. My mama raised a loser, but I broke the chains. I wasn't made to be a player, I was made to build a game.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dirty Trunk Podcast, where the elephant is always welcome. It is me, your boy Marcus Morton. Always here with me is the Aaron Mack, and we're back again on Discord.
I ain't excited about that.
I'm excited.
I ain't excited.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Because you ain't been present. I ain't talked to you in like what? It's been 21 days.
Ooh, hey, has it been that long? I think so. If you come back to work after what seems to be a week, people are like, where you been? We thought you got fired. We thought you left. All this other stuff. I'm like, it's been a week, hasn't it? Right? A week or two?
Well, at least you ain't take a day off and everybody turned on you like you was Napoleon.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. It's
If they could have fired me for taking that day off, boy, they would have.
it's very, very, very interesting at the job we work at, because it's like I don't understand where people get this like mentality from, for just like, you try to kind of separate yourself from them, or like just try to do better in general, and it's like you get punished for it, or you get attacked for it, or you get like just hated on for
Oh,
it.
so you do feel that?
Yeah, I get that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
And I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to be here forever. Like, this is a stepping stone to get somewhere else. Why is me taking time for myself, or just just to change something that would better my life? Why is this a act of rebellion for you guys or something? It's very weird. It's very weird.
I would go and say that like I don't know how it happens in everybody here, but for it seems like for most people, it's like, yo, you ain't here, and if you were here, then this will be getting done a lot better. So so because you ain't here, yo, fuck you, because you ain't here. So you inconvenience me by not being here, and I gotta be here, and you out here living your life, having fun, and doing what you want to do. Yo, fuck you. Yeah, that's what it is, right there, right there.
Yeah, I felt that. I felt that. When I showed up and let the other half of our uh shift, or whatever you want to call it, know that I'll be working with them, bruh. So many eyes lit up. I They thought I was Jesus or something. They was like, "Oh, we're saved. Our Savior is here," and I'm like, "I'm just here to work." Like, what? it's like, oh, we know your work ethic. You on this half now. It's gonna be sunshines and rainbows now. And I'm like, it's not that serious, yo. That is wild.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah. Very very weird week. But no, it was pretty good. Um, this is gonna be a well needed change, a well needed shift. Uh, not just for me, but for like my personal life and the people I got that's supporting me, that's backing me, that I'm also helping and whatnot. Uh, this is good. This is
Yeah, so we gonna get into the topic, or we gonna keep talking about work.
good. We gonna slide into the topic. Um, I wanted to talk about uh, well, what we just talked about kind of correlates with that, finding a healthy balance. Cause like before, trying to cram everything, trying to, be Superman at work and outside of work, it's just it it runs you down. Um, but like finding a healthy balance where you can, put X amount of hours in a passion or X amount of hours in something that's gonna better you outside of a job, it's very much needed. Uh, and not even just the job part, but like even for like your finances and stuff that kind of is needed to be balanced out to kind of help you push forward instead of reaching that burnout real quick. Plot out a course. Make sure everyone around you knows that, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to sacrifice on. This is what we need to build upon. It helps a lot. Situation like
So
that.
as of late, I've
Mm-hmm.
been I've been juggling with the same concept,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really know how. Like the I've been having challenges as it pertains to the same situation,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not necessarily or I didn't think it was a balance issue. I thought it was. I kind of went back in circles with this whole um having a job thing, because
Mm-hmm.
recently uh something that we talked about on the podcast before actually came into fruition, and Alyssa told me that I need to quit my job and
Oh.
go full time. And I was like, yo, I like like it was uncomfortable. Like I don't know what that feeling was, but it was like, yo, I'm not in the we're not in a place right now where I can do that. Like I don't want to do that to her. I don't want to sacrifice that, like let her sacrifice that much, because like, yo, she's talking about still working, putting our dreams on hold as a couple to do that. And I'm like, yo, hold up, like
Mm.
um I don't know. Like I can't really go into that space right there and comfortably do that, and just and I don't know, bro. But like the question that it made me ask myself is like, yo, like you get 3.5 days off, right, throughout the week, like, and you get some time to yourself in the morning. The job, you walking around a lot, but you're not really doing that much. So like you can get up in the mornings, like as you always been doing, to get stuff done. So it's like, yo, are you really maximizing your time the way you should be? So like, as it pertains to that balance piece, man, um, I noticed that once you get into that groove of doing all of that, that's when you start losing that work life balance right there. When you start exerting yourself through and maximizing all of your time. So it's like, yo, like, is this job really going to be the thing that destroys me in the process of trying to get my dreams taken care of? So like, for like you taking that time for yourself and taking that fourth day off for the week, and focusing on what's going on at home, like I can respect that. Like I don't care what nobody say about that situation, like whatever the case is, like as long as you taking care of your house financially and you moving up, like yo, fuck what everybody else got to say about that. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. So like I wish I can do that shit. But like apparently they said in my position you gotta be committed and stuff and all that. So you gotta stay at work 4 days. And, you know, we might ask you for a fifth day, but we gonna get pissed because we get even though we give you time to take a fifth day, we don't expect you to take a fifth day off when we tell you that you gotta come in for a fifth day. So, you know, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
That's just wild. Another thing, when I think of like a balancing act, there's also a risk factor in there, right? So when we say balancing act, actually think about like a tightrope, right? You got the person walking on the tightrope, you know, the crowd's going crazy. It's so it's so great, right? But then like you kind of have this section of the crowd that's like, oh well, you know, anybody can do that. You know, they're not in any real danger because they have a safety net, right? So to actually like push forward and do something extravagant, get rid of the safety nets. Athlete actually have like take risks. Like you've done this like your entire life. The tightrope person has done this their entire life. They have it like the back of their hand. Yes, you know, there's a possibility that they may fall, but through the practice, through the things that they've done to get to that point, they have it in the bag. So why use a safety net? Because you know that if you try this, you're gonna fall. But you have all your ducks in the line. You have this thing down packed. You've been doing it for, you know, 10 years. You've been, you know, studying video games for, you know, X amount of years. You've been trying to put your passion into, you know, full throttle for so long, but yet you have this job that's your safety net. You have this this rut that you're stuck in as your safety net. Get rid of that. Well, in certain circumstances, get rid of that so you can be, you know, you can reach your full potential. You know, you've been studying long enough, you've been practicing long enough. Now it's time to, you know, push on the gas and like go for it. Like your passion is what you make of. Like it's only gonna get better if you get better, you know? Uh that's how I kind of feel about that. And you can ease into it. Uh like I'm doing. I took that fourth day, I got rid of that. Now it's just I have no excuse. I have no excuse to, you know, get the things I need to get done. Uh yeah, there's gonna be a slight, you know, budgeting factor here and there, but I took away my excuses. So now it's just it's work. It's work. It's time to work. It's time to put things in the full throttle. It's time to go for it. Uh you know, just get rid of the excuse factor. You feel me?
So like for real, what was I about to say? Um, I noticed like some of the frustration that comes out of this whole balancing act that you just talked about. You said the tightrope. I like that. Um, unfortunately, like the net that we talking about underneath the joint,
Uh-huh.
when you see that, like most people don't respect it. Like, let's be real.
Mm.
Like you walking across the tightrope, and like my man up in the big house tent, like he walking across the joint between the rings, and he got a safety net under him versus the man who in Vegas walking in between the two hotels, and he, you know, ain't nothing under him but the street. Like for real, like you respect only one of those guys. Like let's be
Mm-hmm.
real. Like maybe the dude in the big house tent, that was practice, I guess. I don't know. Like he could have started there and then worked his way up. I don't know what the case is, but like one of the frustrations where that comes in with the whole balancing act is that, like, for real, like people in our situation, they get into this mode of like they gonna do something, they gonna make something happen, but then the frustration started kicking in. But like I don't think people really understand that the frustration is kicking in only because they not doing enough on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Like your job, you're gonna be doing, you know, 40 hours a week, like for real, like if we for real, if we could spend 40 hours a week at our job and then be successful in our business, I promise you everybody will be straight.
Right.
But it just don't work that way. It just don't. Like I don't know how you wanna take it. It just don't work that way. But like if you spend 40 hours, even if you spend 10 hours a week doing working on something in your business, and you actually have something to produce at the end of the week, like for real, that's what makes the difference right there. That's
Yep.
what makes the difference maker. When you have goals and you have timelines that you're trying to meet, and you meet those timelines and you meet those deadlines, like that's what gets you going on the other side. So like the whole balance thing, like for real, like people get off balance because they ain't doing nothing on the other side. So they falling off. Like it's almost like dropping a dumbbell with weight on one side. What is that joint doing? It's flipping.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it's doing. It's flipping the whole time because there's no weight to balance it out. So if you're doing just as much work on the other hand as you doing when you on the clock, you got it. Eventually, like at some point, like it's gonna start looking bleak because you ain't necessarily getting paid for what you do at the beginning, but it'll pay off if you keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, it's people have a hard time seeing that because, like you said, it's not a instant, payment. It's not a instant reward. It's something you have to uh look forward to down the road. And even in some cases it might not even come, you know, uh a year later or 10 years later. You might be working at it, but as long as you have that faith, that grit, that determination that this is going to be successful one day. This is going to inspire someone, further down the line one day. Like you said, you got it. Uh it's gonna look real dark starting out. Like I from personal experience, I've sat there like wasted a whole day, just trying to figure out a inch, and I see people around me just they making strides, they making miles, they've already started making gains, but I'm slowly chipping away at it, slowly uh getting my skills up, slowly working to get to that final product, and it might not be as soon as I put it out, it might not even get traction until you know quarter 4 or next year's quarter, whatever, however game produces in quarters and whatnot. But yeah, it's all about having that faith and determination that it might not come to me as soon as I produce it, but it's gonna come, you know.
Yeah, man. Um, and like you just said something that that spoke to me a little bit. Um, you said that you look around and other people are doing um they doing more than you, like in a sense, like they succeeding a lot faster than you are. You see that, and it's doing something to you psychologically, and that happens to most people.
Mm.
That happens to most people. But the thing that most people don't understand, and here's what I want to talk about, like um there's two sides to that coin, right? There's the I envy this person because they're ahead of me and I don't have what it takes to be like them. And then there's the I envy this person because I know I could be doing more.
Mm.
So like most of us, we find ourselves in either of those two buckets, and like it has to be you and your ability to self-assess to say which one that actually is. You had to understand like whichever one it actually is. Like I ain't gonna say like what either one is better than the other, but
Mhm.
like if it do happen on either side, you gotta take into accountability what that reasoning is, why you feel the way you feel, and just go for it. Like for real, like if you're not doing enough work, then you need to pick up the action. I don't know what it is that's taking you out of that situation. I know for a fact that me myself, I don't have like my environment sometimes isn't conducive to being productive. Like it is what it is. So what do? I change that, make sure I keep the people around, keep the people who are destructive to my productivity. I leave them outside. I let turn the code off to the house or whatever. Don't let them get through the front door. Like whatever I need to do. I make sure that I take them out of the equation. Like I don't want to hear nothing. Like just leave me alone. Let me do my work. And if you the type of person who look at somebody else and just and say that they're doing more than you, then you need to do more too. It's just plain and simple.
Yeah, yeah, and that's interesting how you said you kind of uh keep people, or like kind of keep people that's destructive to your productivity, on the outskirts or on the outside. And in some cases, some strange cases, uh you'll be in, or more to say that, like, that person that's destructive to your productivity could be, the significant other or the person beside you, uh that's going down that road. Sometimes they see that, oh, this person is doing XYZ, I'm kind of getting, left behind, I'm not doing, as much as they are. And it might not be intentional, but sometimes they try to uh undermine that, or like keep you out of that working state. They'll be like, "Oh, well, you're not spending as much time as you used to with me, or you're not
Okay.
doing this and that."
All right.
And like it, because we've all been there. We've all had that one somebody that's like, you're trying to better yourself, you're trying to make a shift, but it's like, "Oh, well, what are you doing for me? What are you gonna be doing? How are you gonna, take care or provide for me?" Uh and
All right.
if if you ever find yourself in that position, you definitely need to sit down with that person and be like, "Hey, this might not, bring us a immediate, return, but I feel deep in my heart that this is going to be something that brings us up. That's going to get us that lifestyle that we want, And if they're not seeing that, then you're going to have to, and the
Cause we
door
on
is back
Discord.
there.
We on Discord. I want to be able to like hit a double dutch button, just like show
Mhm.
like a double dutch icon in the bottom corner of the screen. It's just like let you know that what you just said, I need to attack that. So like I want everybody to understand as well that if you in a relationship, like as men, like as grown men, like I understand we got we have this stigma of being head of the household. uh we bring home the bacon, blase blase split, whatever you want to call it. Like that's what we supposed to be the providers of
Mhm.
said household. Like that's what we are supposed to do as men. So like when we as men, like, here's another thing that could get you off balance, and not just men in general, but I'm talking as a man because I am a man, so like I can relate to that because like I've been in a situation where I was in a relationship with someone who because I was trying to do something, or I was making something of myself and becoming something. This person said, hey, look, this ain't important right now. We need to do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, hold up, like, all right, you know what? You're right. You're right. But you try to please that person because you want to be the head of the household. You want to provide for your family, and you want to be there for this person. And you decide that okay, I'm gonna do that instead of doing what I need to do because this person don't want me to do this certain action, or this person don't want me to go down this route. So you decide that you're going to do what this person requires of you to do, and then you get off balance on the other side as well. You can get off balance doing what you're supposed to do is what I was getting at there. Like you doing everything right. You going to work like you supposed to. You coming home like you supposed to. You taking care of the kids like you supposed to. But what ends up happening in that situation is because you got denied the right to do what you needed to do for yourself, your own mental health. You fall off balance in that category too. So inevitably, when that happens, it leads to resentment down the line. It leads to displacement, depression, and all kind of things like that. When you swallow your what's the word I'm looking for? When you swallow your need to do this certain thing that you want to do, and you put it in the background so you can take care of this person. Like for real, I'm just gonna let y'all know, like man or woman, if you have a significant other who refuses to see your growth potential, that's not your problem. I'm just gonna put it that way. Like you can sit down and talk to this person, you can have this conversation, and if it don't change, it's not your problem. I'm just being real. Like I understand, you in a relationship, you committed yourself to this person, but like for real, like when you get married, right? They said in sickness and health, and what's the one where that talk about money, and it was sickness and health,
something, or for better or for worse, sickness and health,
for real,
something poor. I think it's better or poor.
for richer or for poor. Yeah,
Okay.
there it is. For richer or for poor. They like when you get married, those vows, like when they say that, that means that this person is required by God Himself. This person is required to accept you for everything that you are and everything that you have the potential of becoming. But for some reason, people decide that, okay, this person, you were this when I got with you. You were this when I got with you. You were that when I got with you. You better stay all three of those things, or we're gonna have a problem.
Ooh,
So you were a pushover when I got with you. You were broke when I got with you. I'd be damned if I sit here and allow you to change yourself into telling me what to do and getting your shit together. So if a person is with you, right, and you're trying to make that shift, and for some reason they looking at you like you scumming the earth because they ask you to go out with they friends or something, or go see their family or something, and you was like, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm gonna stay at home and I'm gonna read this book. And they get pissed because you trying to read this book, or you got a deadline that's coming up for a project that's not work related, and they look at you like, yo, we got a problem. No, we don't have a problem. You have a problem. So let's talk about that problem. And if we can't come to a agreement down the middle, we gotta go. Like somebody, so we gotta split our separate ways. And no, I'm not condoning divorce, right? But like, there's a point in everybody's relationship where, like, if you're going to come to a challenge, and it's going to be a challenge that's going to be laying on the breaking point of your relationship. Everybody comes to that point. I promise you, it happens. And I'm not condoning divorce, but if you go across that line, if you go across that point of no return, there's no reason to keep that thing together, man. I promise you, it ain't. Like it just ends up in more depression, more heartache down the line, more resentment. Just let it go. Just because there's somebody out there who will see your growth potential and they'll raise you one.
Yeah. and it's a hard pill to swallow because like you said, when you push those feelings, you push that passion to the background, you get this feeling of, like you said, resentment. And at first, it might not seem like it's a big deal, but over time, like once years go by, you feel this empty hole in your heart. You feel this feeling of unsatisfied because you could have been doing something that would have, pushed your light to so many levels, but now you're just like you you fell into the social norm. You've given into this person and you've given them so much that there's little of you left inside of you. So you're just like, you know, you fall
That's
into that depression. You fall into
yeah.
that mentality of, this
That,
person has taken so much they haven't,
that's good.
given back. Uh
Yeah.
and it's a hard decision to make because we fall into that that mode of dependency. Oh, we need this person, or we, need them to fulfill this need, but that need comes from you. It's only fulfilled when you,
I'm saying. Yeah.
light that candle and, kindle that spark that brings you happiness, that brings you joy, that passion that you've wanted to start it for years. Once you start it, once you get into it, you light back up. uh it's it's a very hard thing to do because like you want to please that person, but when that person is doing more harm than good, it's time to, cut those strings.
You know
uh
what I'm saying?
and you don't have to, like excommunicate them out your life. You don't have to, exile them. There still could be a healthy relationship there, but you need someone that's going to be in your corner, that's going to support you through thick or thin. uh
Because once you find that person that's going to lift you up the way you're supposed to be lifted up, that person ain't
mhm.
gonna want nothing to do with you anyway. Because now it's two of y'all.
Facts. Big fact. Yeah. Yeah. And you live the dream you were supposed to have with, the previous one. But it's something that needs to happen. A lot of people, I mean, male, female, uh it's not just a heterosexual thing. It's a everyone thing. It's a relationship thing. Some people are just not ready for, or they're just, they can't see your vision. Some people aren't meant
Yeah.
to see your vision. Not your vision isn't for everyone. It's for a select few. Only a select few will get it. Only a select few will be supportive. uh we still have people today that will freaking rag on people that love, watch, write, draw anime. Like we still have people that, but you see that there's millions of people that love it. There's millions of dollars that go into this art style, this storyline, and people still just like, oh, that's a cartoon. You need to grow up. That's for kids and whatnot.
Oh no. My problem with it is the people who the audience of it is usually grown ass men, children who don't do nothing but that and don't do nothing with with their lives but consume anime. That's my problem with it. I ain't got no other issue but that.
I mean, you have two sides to a coin. You have your good side, and then you have your bad side. The people that just sit there at home, consume it, and then try to, come to work and spoil it for you. They want to just tell you the whole storyline and all the details and everything. And I'm just like, you put all that in this moment right now, but you can't do that with nothing else at work. You can't do this with nothing else that would push you forward outside. You literally gave me the playbook from start to finish, and you could have done this with anything in your life, but you chose to spend
To
hours,
do it with somebody
years
else's product.
back. Ooh.
One of the things that I'm really finding myself off balance with is the fact that I gotta be around people who do that. That they think they're the same as me.
Mm, mm. And then try to
Like,
put their 2 cents
yeah, yeah.
into your
With your
stuff.
into yeah, 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 yeah. It frustrates me on a level that I can't even explain to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even I don't think that people can fathom it. And like my coworker asked me about it because I was upset about it the other day, and I was like, "Yo, I don't even think that we on the same level to even be having this conversation. Like, you wouldn't even understand." Like, I was like, "Yo, I don't belong here." Like the people who like they think that things are important that's not important, and I'm like, "Yo, I got $1 million frustrations in my head right now. Like, you really think I'm worried about this?"
Yep.
That's my balance stripe right now. That's my balance gripe right now.
Yeah. And it's crazy how how people can't. Well, no, because you just said your own imbalance and unbalance. Uh, there's some people that can't see it. They literally can't see it. Uh, sorry to take it back to work, but there's a guy that's complaining about finances and overtime, and I'm like, you got two jobs right now. You kind of don't need the second, but you got two jobs right now, and you're worried about overtime. What is the goal here? What are you trying to like? What's on the other end of that scale? You're trying to pile on this money, but what are you trying to connect here? What are you trying to make equal? Yeah, you have a lot of money, but what is it going towards? What are you doing? Are you investing in something? Are you trying to? Is this just like for personal use? Like
Saving,
what is that? Saving?
saving. That's
Saving?
it.
What
That's
what
it.
are you saving money for if you're not gonna do nothing with it? You what?
That's it. I was having a conversation with Alyssa the other day, and we were trying to come up with a plan to cut some costs somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and start focusing on downscaling so that we could pull away from corporate America if we need to. And and we got to a point where it was like we were juggling juggling one of our expenses,
Mm-hmm.
and and no matter how we reworked it, we was like, all right, so based on our lifestyle, if we do this, then we go. If we do this thing, but if we do that, then we mess this up over here. And I was like, so either way you put it, we don't make enough money. So we back at square one regardless. So like I'm looking at that situation like, yo, I gotta figure out how to make more money. So I gotta figure out like I gotta put my head down and work and grind and put some boots to the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, yo, I don't make enough money. So I'm gonna go figure that out. But most people they like, yo, I ain't got enough money. I'm gonna go get a second job, which contributes to your imbalance.
Yep. Which contributes to your putting more mileage on your car. So you getting more parts that break down, and then you got to spend more money to
Don't
fix
help that
that.
it's an old car. It should have antique tags by next year. I think 20 years is the cap on that. I think
is
20
it 20?
years. I think it's 20 years. Like he can get antique tags on that joint now.
Yep. Yep. I think yeah. And then we're not gonna get to that. Nissan does this weird thing. Uh, but yeah, it's crazy how people they try to find solutions for their imbalances, and makes it just tips the scale, it breaks the scale. It doesn't even it, and then it ends up hurting them in the long run because they've they've passed that point of burnout. They're just a walking corpse, a functioning corpse that just goes through the day in day life, and they just complain and complain. Oh, I'm tired. Well, stop working two jobs. But I need the money. Downsize? What is your yeah? Whew. Because before they got the second job, the bills were getting paid. They weren't complaining about anything else. They were just like, whatever. You know, the job pays the bills. So
Yeah.
what was the point of the second job? Well, I needed money to get this expensive luxury item that make me feel good and all this other stuff. But did you need that? Because you have that luxury item, it has now tipped your scale out of balance. Now you're trying to basically kill yourself, or you're killing yourself to put things back in the check. When you could easily just take that luxury item off the scale and everything will fall back into place. I mean, if you're not doing anything to tip those scales in your favor, you might as well just
You don't make enough money. That's what you're trying to
exactly.
say. You need to figure that part out first. And getting a second job ain't the thing. Getting a
Not
second
at
job
all.
ain't the thing. Like, bro, like I know a chick who spend upwards of hundreds of dollars a month on just weed alone,
Yep.
but then complain about her $1,200 rent, and then turn around to get a second job so she can pay for $1,200 in rent.
And tried to have a side hustle.
We got a side hustle too.
Was selling Apple products at one point in time. I
Apple.
don't know if Apple products, AirPods, watches.
Oh, that sounds sketchy.
Yeah, just a little bit, a little bit.
All right, all right, all right.
Don't ask.
Yep.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
Don't ask. I ain't got no. I ain't got no. Nope. I ain't got no questions. I ain't got no questions. So in closing, in conclusion, how long have we been on?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. Damn. We can't conclude yet. Like, I need a timer or something. Like, um, mm,
Um, uh, I don't understand. Well, I do understand. People, uh, they have this weird mentality of money and the need of money. Uh, but if the bills are getting paid, if everything is taken care of at home, you know, your family is well fed, your kids are well fed, they got clothes on their back. Why are you doing all this extra uh for show? I know a lot of parents, a lot of new parents, you know, they want to put their firstborn in like Jordans, you know, everything with a brand name on it. But they grow out of that in like weeks. Like you got to buy a whole new shoe in the next 2 weeks. So that's another $100 that you shoving out for what,
kid shoes $100 now.
bruh? Yes.
Oh wow. I remember when a child's Jordan used to be like $40, bro. Like I thought that was still that too expensive.
Things have gone up tremendously. Uh,
Inflation. I feel it.
but yeah, you're doing all that to prove what? Like he's gonna play in a pair of $10 shoes just as hard as he gonna play in a pair of $100 shoes. He ain't gonna know the difference. He don't care about the difference. He is worried about himself, his star player, and him being the next greatest astronaut that he could be out here in the playground, you know?
Or the king
And
of the
it's
jungle
just
gym.
facts. And it's like we could have that same mentality. We can be that same, we can have that same passion as adults, but we don't, because we're worried about what other people think of us, how we're perceived to others. We have to have this perception of richness, but we don't have the means of richness. You know, we're out of balance there. We want the looks of the richness, but not the work ethic or the grind or the grit of the richness. We just want to look rich instead of actually be wealthy and, you know, prosper in this
You
life.
know
We
what I
just
just thought about?
what's up?
Maybe maybe it's like so. I had a conversation with Alyssa recently where
Mhm.
we were talking about pregnant women. You know, we planning on having starting a family next year or whatever,
Mhm.
and we were talking about their cravings, and she found some chart that was talking about how when women crave a certain thing, how
Mhm.
is actually their body not necessarily craving the food itself, like pickles and ice cream, is
Mhm.
actually craving some nutrient that their body needs to have, and that's why they crave pickles and ice cream. And
Mhm.
like I remember, one of my exes said she craved ice, and yeah, come to find out it was one of those situations where her body was craving some kind of iron or something. So chewing on the ice kind of made it seem like she was chewing on rocks, and it gave her mind some kind of
Relief.
it tricked her mind a little bit into
Mhm.
thinking that she was getting that nutrient or whatever. But anyway, like I was thinking
Hmm.
about it like in a sense of that, where it's like maybe poor people don't know that they're craving something,
Who?
but it's like they know they're craving something, but they have a question, but they don't know how to ask. And instead of asking the question or figuring out or making their life work to figure out that question, because at some point and some at some part of their family, somebody wanted this, and
Mhm.
needs and desires can be passed down genetically, especially if you have a need and a desire, and you have children and you never realize that need and desire in your life, so it could be genetically passed down to your children. So I'm just thinking, like, what if there was somebody in our family history who had a need and desire to be wealthy and successful, and they never got there, so inevitably they passed down that need, and now we just have this internal need and this internal desire to be wealthy and successful, but we don't know how to ask the question because we're in environments that doesn't dictate that being successful or wealthy is necessary, because you can survive just good on just 18, 17, $16 an hour, whatever you make at your job, and you can be good at that. But like your environment doesn't give off the clues that that this is where, like, that there is something more on the other side. So instead of looking for wealth, we try to gain assets, because we figured the more stuff we have, or the more fancy things that we have, the more that we can pass down. So we start being delusional about what an asset actually is, and that's what happened. I think I want to say that that's what the trick is, that people are delusion they are so delusional that they're tricking themselves into believing that the things that they buy are assets that they can pass down, but they're really not.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen nobody pass down a smoker.
Yeah. It's the brain is very unique, and just like you said, I think the word that you were looking for is like when a brain gets a certain way, or it's craving something, it sends a impulse to do something. Um, like you can go, X amount of years without having a certain food, but then like you said, like your brain is like, hey, we need this nutrient, or we need this something, we need this satisfaction of having what we missed or what we haven't had in a while, so it starts sending impulses to get this said item, or get this said food or nutrients or whatever. And like you said, we've all been to this point of poor, of not having wealth, generational wealth, not having the luxury items. So our brain is like, all right, we have this much money in the bank. All right, we need our nails done, we need our hair done, we need uh we need the car to look a certain way. We need something flashy, something fancy. We need something that'll make people go ooh ah, we're this high status person or whatever. But like, it's weird because we see people that are in similar positions with a lot less and are living a lot better lives than we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I just got this book recently that
mm,
talks about the like I thought it was an interesting concept, and I I bought it just so I can get clues from it, or like some kind of a hint of how to structure my next venture.
mm,
But and I'm a shout the woman out. I found her on Facebook in one of the Amazon ads group that I'm a part of, and
mm.
she wrote a book called the Brules of Life.
The rule.
The Brules, Brules, and it's she only named it that because you can't say bullshit in an Amazon title, book for Amazon. So it's the
Okay,
15 bullshit rules that society wants you to follow.
got you.
Yeah. I thought it was a pretty cool concept, so I went on and bought that joint so I could see what she was what her philosophy was. So that's one of the things in there, like just attaching yourself to way too many things,
Mhm. Yep.
and people think the things fill them. Like that's just how society was built for some reason. Like for whatever
Mm,
reason, um, the wealthy they don't attach themselves to things. Like for real, like I can like I can like have something happen to this house, and I can get out of this house and find another one. But like somebody else would be like, yo, now that like bro, so many people who have proposed that Alyssa and I start doing things to this house that somebody who is in their forever home will be doing. You know what I mean? And I'm
yeah.
just like, yo, like this is just what we stand for right now. Like I don't know how long we gonna be here, but the plan ain't to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Like and like the wealthy when they say they got things, it's usually things that have value to it.
Yep.
And last time I checked um you can you can't get a pair of Jordans appraised. There's no inspector. There's no inspector that comes out for a pair of Jordans. Like there's not. It's not a thing. Like it don't work like that. It's like you don't have you don't have a pair of Jordans appraised. You don't like it. Maybe like your jewelry. Maybe like that's wealth if you have enough of it, I guess. I don't know, but most people just buy gold bars if that's how they feel. Like if they want gold, like you just buy a gold bar. Like you don't have to buy the jewels to wear. Like I don't think that's you don't need to do that. Like it's not necessary.
uh, yeah. I like
Speaking
how
of,
you said, huh?
my bad. Did you know that's why Busta Rhymes and Mr. T used to have gold chains a lot like that?
What?
That right there, that for wealth purposes.
Oh,
They literally wore their
for their
wealth.
wealth. Uh huh.
They literally wore their wealth. They gold has a value.
It still does now. I thought it lost its value, or
It
is it
lost quite a bit of value, but it's still
still?
valuable. It's still the most precious metal right now,
Hmm.
as far as I know.
Yeah, we putting it on chicken and eating it. But all right, that's cool.
The real gold though that they doing that with,
I don't know.
it's probably
It's
like edible spray paint or some shit. You know they got
I
that now.
think it's edible spray paint.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
they
mean
got
I
that
know
for
that
cakes.
there's edible paint, but I don't know if there's. I know there's like maybe like a hint of gold in there. I don't know if that's good to digest, but anyway,
Oh, no.
uh, I like how you said when the wealthy when they have things, it's more of things that's gonna bring back more wealth. You know, when wealthy say they have things, they have jobs, they have stocks, they have businesses that, you know, contribute to their wealth.
Mhm.
Uh but when, you know, the regular degular, the guy that's working at 9 to 5, when he says he has things, he has a new car, he has uh entertainment systems, he has
That's five.
yeah, PS5, he has the new Jordans that just came out. He has all these things that he's spent money on that's not going to bring him
More comic books.
anything in return.
That
Statues.
that that
So,
new that new game that just came. Oh yeah, the statues. Can't forget about the statues. But this one light up though.
yep. And it's a
A pack of cigarettes.
ooh, yeah. Yeah. Not only is that, you know, contributing to the lack of money you have, that's actually contributing to a decline in your health. You know, it's crazy how we, like, yeah, like you said, poor people attach themselves to things that just decrease them in each and every way. And it's gonna take a mindset shift to get them to put their money into things that'll bring them an increase instead of that decrease. So it's a hard pill to swallow. People come to the realization either, you know, listening to this podcast, reading books, or, you know, sometimes sadly it takes a life changing event, life changing
They won't
scare for
listen to us
them.
until it's too late.
Hopefully
The
that doesn't
people,
happen.
the people closest to you will never listen to you until you get to the position that they can envy.
Mm,
And that's why John C. Maxwell said you can't save everybody. You gotta do what you do,
mm-hmm.
and you had to do what you do well. And the people on the back end, like you can't concern yourself with them. And that's something that why people do what they do. And one thing that I do know is that poor people, they ain't gonna follow you until, like, I don't care how much financial advice you try to give them. Like, they can go talk to a financial advisor that's making millions of dollars and still tell him that he wrong because they got to work a second job, or he tells them that's something that's going to be perceived as taking money out of their pocket, that they won't do it. They won't even pay a financial advisor to learn how to manage their money. So
Ooh,
you know they're not going to listen to free advice on how to fix their financial problems. So
ooh,
it is what it is.
big
They don't know
facts.
how to invest in themselves. So
Say,
not my problem.
say. But alrighty, people. We do this for you guys. We want you guys to do better. We want you guys to grow along with us because we're just trying to be better than what we were yesterday. We go through struggles just like anyone else. So like and comment and share this video. Like us on Spotify. Uh, like us on all streaming platforms that we're on. Uh, and just spread the word. You know, we're just two regular guys just trying to do phenomenal things out here. Um, so what we got coming up, Mac?
January 17th is the
January
day that
17th. Okay.
is the day that my next book releases. So that's Tuesday, January 17th. That will be the release of the Arcane and Prophecy book
Okay.
that I've been
Okay.
working on. That's going to be my perma-free book that I'm releasing for the Aether universe. So that's the next thing I got coming up. So currently in the process of editing and putting together like the most baddest asses ebook that you have ever seen in your life. The most baddest, the baddest assest ebook that you would get for free ever in your life. So
Okay.
um Yeah, we emulating multi-billion-dollar company status. So in that ebook, so it's gonna be good.
Word. That's what's up. Still knocking out the course, chipping away at like I said, getting that game design skills up and running. Um, Other than that, uh, just been living life. Um, Making sacrifices here and there to open up new possibilities for myself. Um, Again, we love y'all. This has been the Dirty Trunk Podcast where the elephant is always welcome. And it's me, your boy Marcus Morton. Always here with me is the Aaron Mack. And always remember, those who shy away from addressing the elephant in the room are doomed to be crushed by the weight of it. We love y'all.
Peace, love y'all. See y'all next week.